Thanks, Ivor. Okay, my name is Richard Logie, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. I've got a lot of slides to go through. But first thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about who I am, where I come from. I come from the Orkney Islands, as you can see up in the top there. And my parents moved us down to a very remote village in Sutherland called Cumbrace. And when I mean remote, I mean a remote. I mean, that's the view of Cumbrace. And this is actually the view from our house. And one of the things that we had in Cumbrace was a favour system. On paper, we were poor. You know, they forgot to tell us that we were poor because we had a system where we would do each other's favours all the time. And I did really, really well out of it. And one of the things I learned very quickly was the more you could do, the more you got. And every so often I would come home and I would see a haunch of venison or a salmon on the deep freeze. And it's either something that I've done for somebody or something my father's done. My father was an agriculture engineer, and he passed all his skills on to me, and I became an agriculture engineer as well. Oops, press the right button here. So basically, it was a favour system where we managed to exchange goods and services. We really just exchanged skills, and you put different values. And the more you could do, the more valuable you were to the community. And the problem I found very, very quickly was you could only do so much for so much. You know, there's what we call the instance of coincidence. Finding somebody who has what you want, who then wants what you have at the same value in the same time. And what I discovered is you need money. And but it was ironic that I was involved in this when I was a youngster, and it became my career later on. So what is a complementary currency? Well, just to define it very simply, a complementary currency is any mechanism that can be used as a medium of exchange to replace or complement the national currency or the sovereign currency. It's a twin-track system. It runs alongside the existing system. And there are many different types of complementary currencies. You may not recognize them as complementary currencies, but if I was to say to you air miles, loyalty points, time banks credits, games console currency, Facebook credit, digital coins, metal-based coins, these are all complementary currencies. We all accept it. If you go into Tesco's with your club card point or Sainsbury's with your Nectar point, you can use that currency to buy goods and services. So we've been running a commercial exchange system in Aberdeen since 1995. I've been involved since 1993. And what we find with the exchange, that it really does enhance the community because we actually add to the GDP of the local community. And the currency that we use is what we call mutual credit. What I want to do is to explain to you the different types of exchange systems. We've got what we call a trade exchange, which is what we operate. A corporate exchange, which is for the large companies. Then have corporate trade exchanges, which is a hybrid of what we do and the large corporate companies do. And you've got local exchange systems. And the new one that's coming along, which we're very excited about, is the loyalty exchange, which includes the consumers. It has business to consumer. As you see, the B2B at the top there and B2C at the bottom here. So what is the trade exchange? Well, a trade exchange is a private currency system. It's based on mutual credit. It provides a trading platform and broker services and third-party record keeping for businesses who wish to buy and sell from each other. All trade exchanges use an internal currency called trade credit or trade dollar. It's recognized by the Inland Revenue, Customs and Excise because it's taxable, and also it's VAT-able, so you pay VAT on top of it. But also, more importantly, it's tax deductible. So if you make a charitable donation with your currency, you can make a deduction on it. There are many different exchanges out there, several hundred of them in fact, okay? But there are actually some very large ones as well. Some of these exchange systems are publicly quoted companies. That you've got people like ITEX, IMS and TBEx who have been formed many, many years ago. But the one that we're always more interested in is the VIR system in Switzerland, which has over 20% of all Swiss companies use this exchange system. It's a private currency. In fact, it's actually Switzerland's second currency. If you look it up, you have the CHF, which is the Swiss franc, and you've got the VIR credit, which is also a national currency. So what is currency? Well, currency is a credit instrument. It's an obligation of the issuer, whether it's a central bank, a company, or an individual. Sorry, business or an individual. It's an IOU system. Anybody can create it. Anybody can create a currency, but not everybody accepts it. It's where the U's have got to trust the I's. And the important part with currencies, to get people to trust it, you've got to have good governance. So what is mutual currency? Well, mutual currency is where the currency issued is actually based on the assets of the members, not on the assets of the exchange. It's very simple. 1 and 1 equals 2 in our books. And when we talk about simple currency, there's no fancy accounting required. It's very simple. It's where all the debt equals all the positive. And it's a zero game. All the positive imbalances equal 0. So when we talk about currency, it's the members themselves who are issuing the currency. So this is a very important part. When a member goes into a negative, they become the issuer of the currency. They spend the currency into circulation. And because of the way the trade exchange works, we have to make sure that we protect the currency at all times. And to give the currency value, you've got to make sure that it has value for when you go to spend it. And the way that we do this is very simple. We take the business sectors and we divide it into 5 sections. We've got material, agriculture, services, retail, and transportation. And what we find is that if you have a product that everybody buys, then you'll have high demand for the product. So, for example, a light bulb. It's very difficult to do business without a light bulb. That's everybody uses. So that gives a high demand to the system. And as you further from the centre you go, the less demand there is. For example, in the agricultural sector, combine harvester. It's a huge piece of machinery, but not everybody uses combine harvesters. So what we do is we rate companies based on what they sell. But more importantly, we take into account a little bit more about them. So we have a matrix that actually allows us to measure every single company within the group. And we index all companies. That's what we do in our exchange system. And what we do here is we look at what their history is, what their reputation, just like eBay, what their reputation as a buyer, reputation as a seller, and what their history is, and also the credit checking through the bureaus. And that gives us an index to index each of the companies. So that gives the currency value. So it's very simple. Because the currency is created by the initial founders, they spend the currency into circulation. And once they put it into circulation, the currency always comes back to them to redeem. So you buy from them, they buy from you. It's the ultimate loyalty program. And what it does, as you can see, the currency can't be spent outside this group. And what you do here is it provides a loyalty program for the local community. So why do businesses want to get involved? Well, they're not interested in currencies. That's not what they're about. It's all about the unsold. What can it do for me? That's how you get businesses involved. When we talk about the unsold, every business has got unsold. From unsold to advertising, to printing, to services, etc. All businesses have unsold. When you look at the unsold as from a worldwide perspective, there's estimated between $10 and $12 trillion of unsold capacity available at any one time. This is known as dead capital. What the trade exchanges do is they turn this dead capital into new income for businesses. So when we go to a business, more and more times they find businesses have less cash, they don't have enough credit, but they've got lots of goods and services they can sell. So what we do here is we add this onto their existing business. It's a complementary marketplace. We add it onto their existing business. So it's a very simple formula. What we find is one company's unsold capacity or products is another company's need or expense. So what we do here is you take your business, you offer it to imagine this pool, big credit pool. All the other companies are offering their services to the pool. You offer what you have to get what you need. Turning unsold into income. Well, this is our elevator pitch. When we sit down with a company and they want to say, well, what do you do? We say very simple. In fact, we do this. We say that's your potential. That's what you're doing just now. The part we're interested in is your unsold capacity. What we then want to do is take that unsold capacity and eat into your expenses. By turning those into trade credits, they use that currency to offset against expense items, which in returns improves their cash flow and their profits. When trade exchanges speak to businesses, we only ever speak to them about their cash flow. Cash is king. But there's a little line that says barter smarter. And what we do here is we offer companies a credit line. And when they borrow from the exchange system, we don't charge them any interest. There's no fixed term. There's no annual fee. The loans are repaid with sales. There's no set monthly payment, and the loans actually cost less than the borrow. That sounds impossible, but that's exactly what we do, is that we don't charge any interest. How they pay back the loan is when they bring sales to them. We don't charge them an annual fee. Also, because we only pay back in sales, there's no set monthly payments. But also, if they borrow 10,000 credits from the exchange, it's only cost them 10,000 of their goods and services, which has cost them 3, 4, 5, 6,000. When we sit down with a company, it has multiple functions for each company. Companies use the system for a whole range of different reasons, and we learn a lot from our clients. The clients are always coming out to us and saying, hey, I've got a new idea, can we use it for this, can we use it for that? So they can use it for keeping business local, it's improving their cash flow, it's all about winning new clients, helping them bid for contracts, securing existing clients. But more importantly, we help companies recover debt using the system, where companies can pay them in goods and services into the exchange, and they can get paid credits to resolve a debt. When we talk about mutual credit, we're talking about the next generation of our monetary system. It's an evolution, not revolution. It's complementary, not alternative. It's cooperation, not competition. It's businesses that issue the currency, and it's a community that creates the wealth. When we talk about the evolution of money, when we look at money, if you look at the money of the past, that's when our money was physical, when we had physical coins of silver. When we look at money of the present, it's centralized but connected. But what I mean by that is issued by central banks. They're the guarantor of the currency. On the new type of currency, it's the individuals or the companies who issue the currency become the guarantor of it. So it's it's connected and decentralized and connected. What we do at GETS, so we have our organization called GETS as well, is that we help companies to create a new culture where it promotes sustainability, mutually owned credit clearing systems, and for communities that flourish and collaborate and expand. It's all about member-owned exchanges. All the exchanges that we're trying to encourage are member-owned, independent of each other. It's mutual credit. They're transparent, means all the accounts are transparent to all the members. Decentralized. Independent shared markets. We'll also allow these exchange systems to also communicate with each other. So if you've got hotels in Aberdeen or hotels in some other part of the world, you can still do transactions with each other through a mutually owned inter-exchange system. So what we also try and encourage all the exchanges to do is to provide common governance, common standards, common procedures. What this does is it improves the quality of the currency. Because at the end of the day, to improve the quality of the currency, you're creating trust from all the members who use it. And what we say here is the community is our currency. Thank you very much.